was good. You can highlight, use a pencil, and all. Yes, Zamiki?
Try to summarize your text.
Summarize your text. How? Where?
Huh? Well, you can't really have the ability to summarize, like, let's say for example, in this book,
yes,
if I want to summarize like 5 pages,
okay,
I cannot really summarize the main points without having active reading. I can't just summarize everything with just giving things down.
Which word did we use? Notepad was the lowest point. Which word did we use?
Summary?
Yes? Exactly. Annotate. Annotations. Annotations is summary. Write summaries at the margin. This paragraph talks about this. You annotate at the margin. You can write a sentence or two, so that whenever you are going back to that piece of article, that concept, whenever you see that annotation, you will remember, oh, this is what this paragraph is talking about. So in doing that, you will not have to spend a lot of time going through the whole paragraph, because your mind will click, oh, this is what I write here, because of the annotation. Okay, what else? 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 more. 3 more. Yes? What? Okay. Think critically. Think critically about the text. As you read, think critically about the text. Who wrote this text? Why did he write it? When did he write it? So in that case, as you try to understand the author and the reason why the text was written, you understand the text better. If you understand why Mr. Gilbert wrote this article, you will understand the article. If you understand the timing of the article, you will understand the article better. Why, when, who. Another point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 more to go. Also, when you think about the text, think of who is the intended audience. Who was the author having in mind when he was writing the text? Is it for school kids? Is it for teenagers? Is it for adults? Who is the audience? As we go along the coursework, you will realize that whenever you embark on writing anything, as a writer, you must think of your audience. Who are you writing for? Because the audience will determine the kind of words you use. Am I right? Yes, very important. So think critically about the text, the author, the audience. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 more. Yes, Vicky?
Try to explain to other people to understand.
What?
Explanation to other.
There is another point that was the second point that was related to the first. Who can remember? Here we're talking about a write of text. You can also read other subjects. Biology, sociology, history, also read them. Because other subjects, non-fiction works. Read them because they will broaden your knowledge, and whenever you read other things, you will know this and this is what usually happens. The last one. What was the last point? Look for. Carl, the last point. Whenever you're reading, you should look forward. Okay. I think here. You should look forward. The last point. You can remember the last point.
Looking for keywords.
Keywords, okay. You can replace it with signposts, okay? Look for signposts.
There's one more point, right?
Okay, so when we talk of signposts, we can replace with Zemiki's vocabulary keywords. Importantly, essential, in contrast. On the other hand, So those keywords will tell you there's some important information that is being mentioned. You think about it. So look for signposts. Look for signposts and keywords. So these are ways of developing. Yes. Yes. Which one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many 6, 7? Do you have a different text?
On the previous page.
Where?
No.
Okay, you must be having a different text.
That's 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, what? Little like signposts that help you understand the text page is like.
I see 7 also.
The third one is just like, it's part of it.
That's part of it, never mind.
Yes?
It's 7, but she read the sub.
Yes. So, thinking critically. Guys, no, thank you. In thinking critically, it has been split into asking some questions. Imagine the kind of questions you ask someone if you had read the article. Okay. Whenever we are handling comprehension in class, we used to do this all the time. After reading the passage, I used to ask you random questions. Remember? So those random questions were just to test whether you understood what you read or not. So whenever you have read an article, expect some questions, random questions. So as you answer those questions, you should be very precise. You should avoid giving unnecessary stories. You should be straight to the point. So the same here, when you're working on comprehension passages in class, it's almost certain that your teacher will keep asking you questions. This is to help you gain a complete understanding of what you have read. And you should ensure that your answers are as precise and specific as possible. Very precise, very specific. So when you're reading on your own, try to think and anticipate some of the questions your teacher may ask you. Okay, so as you read, you think, oh, Mr. Gilbert is most likely to ask this question. So as you think, you pay attention to whatever you're reading. In that case, you're reading what? You're reading actively. You pay attention to whatever you're reading. Okay, so this should help to ensure that you have thoughts about the main concerns of the passages and understood them to the best of your ability. That's how I used to excel in my reading comprehension examinations. Why? I used to anticipate what will my teacher ask me. It's like I somehow read his mind. I used to anticipate this teacher is going to ask me this question. So I pay special attention to that kind of information that I'm anticipating that he will ask. So always try to do that. So this thing I find interesting. This is a very important point. He may ask this. So even if you're reading and the teacher is not there in an exam, and the question comes, you know exactly where to find it. Where you find your answer, in which part of the passage. Once you master this approach, you will find that you're reading with a much clearer and more focused understanding. Once you know, once you anticipate, this is what I may be asked, your reading will be very, very focused. You will understand whatever you're reading. This will allow you to maximize the use of your skills in any situation and when answering a comprehension question. And help you lot. Okay. Now, exercise 1. Test your active reading skills. Read through the following paragraphs in which the writer describes a journey on the luxurious Cyclone Orient Express train. As you read, make notes of any words or phrases about whose meaning you are not clear, and then check the meaning by using a dictionary. Write down a one-sentence summary of each paragraph. Make up 5 questions with answers to test your understanding of the passage, and then give them to a partner to answer. Okay.
Is this homework?
That is your classwork and homework. So, I want you.
Did we copy that?
What I want you to do, you have your books, right? I want you to make notes on passive and active reading. You define the two, passive reading and active reading. Then you go to how to develop the skill of active reading. You summarize the 7 points, not like I have done. You can write a sentence for each or 2 sentences for each. Then you do exercise 1. You start now. So this is what I want you to do. You define passive reading, then active reading. Okay. Then how to develop the skill of active reading. So in every point, write a sentence or 2.
For every point?
Yes. You summarize it the way you understand it.
Is there
Then you're good to go. Then you do exercise 1. You don't have to do. Why? You should forget yourself.
I switched the schedules.
What?
I switched the schedules. Everything stays scheduled.